Some common questions about Vine. Well, one person who has taken advantage of Vine is the mother of 17-year-old Casey Crowder. 3 years ago this month, Casey disappeared after her car ran out of gas on Highway 65 in Dumas. 1 week later, search crews found her body. A jury convicted Kenneth Osborne of Casey's murder. But in June, the state Supreme Court overturned Osborne's conviction. Now Casey's mom is using Vine to keep track of Osborne as the case continues.
Oh, I miss her laugh. I miss her singing because she sang, I think she came into this world singing. She was a little feisty. She loved to play softball, and she loved the outdoors.
When Melinda Crowder thinks of her daughter Casey, she tries to remember the good times.
And I always tried to push her to be girly. You know, I wanted her to dress up and be my little girl, but she was more of a tomboy and liked playing ball and fishing and things like that.
Those memories are clouded, though, by the ongoing case of Kenneth Osborne, the man convicted of killing Casey. After Casey's death, Melinda signed up for Vine, not only to protect herself, but also other families.
I have this fear of him getting out and doing this to someone else's child. I'm not personally afraid of him. I'm afraid of what he could do.
Vine has also come in handy as Osborne's case winds through the court system. Melinda was notified when officials moved Osborne to another prison, and Vine gave her peace of mind after the Supreme Court overturned Osborne's conviction.
And, you know, at first, when he did win the appeal, I didn't know if he was getting out of prison right then. I didn't know what was going to happen. And this lets me know where he is at all times, and I don't have to worry. Even if we don't hear from it, that's better than hearing from it, you know, because I know where he is.
Here with me now is Dee McManus Engel. She's with Parents of Murdered Children, a support group for the friends and families of murder victims. Hi, Dee.
Good morning.
I understand Melinda Crowder works for your organization.
Yes, ma'am.
And you also have volunteers. Tell me about the sorts of jobs that you're doing there.
Well, some of the programs we have that we do use volunteers on would be like our anniversary note writing that we do every month to let the families know that we're thinking about them during their anniversary date of the death of their loved one. We do court accompaniment and parole accompaniment and petitions, and we'll either do a petition drive and the volunteers help us.
So how many volunteers do you have at any given time?
Probably statewide we have probably about 15.
Okay. So describe how your organization uses Vine.
Oh, we use it to monitor the murderers. We just not the murderers, but when the court dates come up and the paroles, clemencies. So we'll be prepared to rally with the petitions and hearings and etc. to be aware of that. We also let the family know in case they do not know. At times that they have not signed up for Vine or whatever, then we can help keep up with it that way with them.
Give me a story. You have an example?
Yes, ma'am. We have a murderer that's murdered 2 times, murdered his wife and a friend of his back in 1977. And it was one of my husband's family members that was murdered, his cousin. And we keep him in prison by being notified by the clemencies. He's not allowed for parole because he got a life sentence without, or 2 life sentences without. But the Vine program will call us and let us know when a clemency is coming up. And we also have another, unfortunately, had a nephew that was molested. And we keep up with the molester, and which also got life without. And we got a phone call just less than a month ago, which when you get that phone call, your heart kind of drops. But it was just letting us know that he was being moved from one unit to the other. So that way we know. And it helped the nephew in the way that we could call and let him know at night before he goes to bed. He can call to make sure that this guy was in prison and not roaming the streets, so he could sleep a little bit better at night.
Do victims sometimes on a daily basis?
Oh yes, ma'am. We'll call and just to make sure that they're still there. I mean, we just get terrified because you just don't know, because there's been so many horror stories that has happened across the nation that they get out without knowing.
Describe this. I can just see the comfort that it must bring you. Describe what that's like to have this organization. Without it, what would it be like without it?
I can't imagine without the VINE program. Yeah. I am just so thankful that Arkansas has it here. I can't begin to imagine how it would be, because back when my cousin was murdered, back in '89, we didn't have the system. And of course, all the guys are out now, but it would have been so comforting to know where they are at, what they were doing, when they were going to be out in court, and et cetera, instead of having the prosecutor's office trying to help keep up with notifying.
Dee, tell me about the fundraiser you've got coming up.
Oh, we have, it's called Inflation Frustration Fundraiser. North Point Nissan has been gracious enough to donate 2 cars at their 2 locations,
Fabulous.
the Little Rock and the North Little Rock dealership. And on Saturday, the 15th, we will get to bash a car for $1. For each swing you have, it's $1. And we really would love for y'all to come out and show your support and get some frustration out on no matter what your frustration is.
There you go. Bash that car.
It's one of our good therapies for parents of murdered children, is to have a function like this.
Yeah.
It helps with the anger process.
Absolutely. Dee, thank you so much.
Thank you,
for
Tracy.
being
Appreciate
here.
it.
To learn more about parents of murdered children, give them a call at 375-7662. All right. Law enforcement officials are often the first people to notify crime victims about VINE. See how they're getting the word out.
Since 1998, Arkansas has helped crime victims and their families through VINE, victim information and notification every day. VINE is a free 24-hour service that keeps victims informed when an offender's custody status changes or is scheduled to appear in court. Now the hearing impaired can utilize this vital service. If you're concerned about an offender, call one of these numbers or go online at vinelink.com. Remember, your safety is a right, not a privilege.